to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Superintendent Larson?
Ullum.
Yes.
Odie.
Yes.
Saxer. Scott.
Yes.
Bell.
Yes. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
There's been a first and a second. All of those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. No conflict of interest disclosure or waiver requests tonight, and I don't believe we have any community input tonight. That takes us to our first item under general business, oral report for a good news report from Child Nutrition Services about nutrition education in the classroom.
Cool. Is that better? Cool. Okay. Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm Andrea Cruz, Child Nutrition Director for the Brandon Valley School District. Tonight I have the pleasure of talking to you about a pretty neat initiative that the Child Nutrition Department put in place and implemented this past fall, starting with the 22-23 school year. And that initiative is nutrition education in the classroom. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. The nutrition education initiative that was launched has been a goal of mine since I took over about 3 years ago, and I share that same passion with our current registered dietitian, Allison Eddy. Allison is not able to be here tonight, but I want to make sure she gets due credit for what she did with this program. She was really the one that spearheaded the initiative, kind of organized the whole thing, implemented, and did a lot of the teaching as well. So she's done a phenomenal job getting this in place. The program was initially designed to provide students with very basic nutrition education in kind of small increments. We wanted the goal of the program to be to expose students in the classroom to nutrition and wellness related information that would be pertinent in their future, so that they could take it home, things that they maybe wouldn't normally learn in the classroom, take it home and apply it to their own life. As it was the first year of the program, go ahead, Chuck, to the next one. Thank you. As it was the first year of the program, we tried to start a little smaller. So we kind of piloted the program in our elementary buildings, all 5 of them, grades K through 4. And teachers could request an education session through an online Google form that was created and sent out through the school secretaries. Typically, it's kind of neat. When we sent out the first one, it took less than 10 minutes for all of the sessions to fill up. And by the time we got to April, it took about 2 minutes. So the program was a big hit, and we're very, very proud of that. So within that form, there was session dates and session times that teachers could select, and then they also could pick from 4 different curriculums that were being offered in the beginning. So at the start of the school year, there were 4 different curriculum options, and these up here are those 4. So the first one was Kids in the Kitchen, and in that one, we actually took kids out of the classroom and brought them into the kitchens within the buildings. And the goal of that was just to give students kind of a behind-the-scenes look into food service and show them what it takes and what goes into feeding hundreds of students every day. So we brought kids, we started in the back of the kitchen, showed them where all the food is received in. We showed them the storage areas, which always got a good response, very shocking. Coolers, freezers, dry storage, and then of course during non-cooking hours, we showed them all of the equipment that we use. We walked them through the serving line areas, which they see every day, but we showed them kind of the back side of it, and then we walked them through where we clean and the dish areas and all of that. Like I said, the goal of that was just to kind of show them what it takes to feed that many students and give them kind of that behind the scenes look. And they also got a cute little cookbook that they could take home after that session and share those healthy recipes with their families. The second session, it was Rethink Your Drink, which was always kind of a hit. We talked about the sugar content of popular beverages that kids might like during that session. So we had little sugar bags for visual representation, so they could see, how much sugar is actually in Gatorade or apple juice or some of those soda things that they normally would just drink like water. And so we talked about, this is how much sugar is in there. Here's some of the maybe negative health things that can help from drinking too much of those items. So we talked about the relationship of those high sugar contents and health. And then encouraged, drinking milk, water, and all of those kind of good things. In Why Healthy Eating, we talked about the relationship between food and our bodies, basically. So we kind of went over the basics of how food is fuel. And so how the nutrients in our bodies provide us with energy and help us grow. And then My Plate was kind of our most basic session. We talked about the 5 different food groups, the foods that are included in them, and how they benefit us to have a balance. So each of those curriculums were catered to the grades that we were teaching. So we didn't teach the same thing to the 4th graders that we would teach to the kindergartners. So just to give you kind of an example, the My Plate session, that was my favorite one. We would always do, in the kindergarten levels, we would teach the food groups using fun character names. So things like Reggie Veggie, Jane Grain, Mary Dairy, and we would ask kids what kind of foods fit into those food groups. And then, kind of segue that with how can you include those foods in your next meal? And then just kind of talk about the benefits that way. With the 4th graders, we got a lot more detailed and talked about, okay, fruit has all of these vitamins and minerals. Here is what they do for you. That's great for immune support. It has lots of fiber. That's great for gut health. So we got a lot more detailed as we got older. There were also a couple, go ahead to the next one, Chuck, thank you. There were also a couple, in addition to those 4, we also had some requests as we went on into the school year for more specialized sessions, specifically from teachers. So these were a couple of the 2 that were probably my favorite throughout the school year. The first one was requested by the 4th grade teachers at Brandon Elementary wanted to just do a class as a whole, and so this curriculum was developed. So we did a Try Something New session. We partnered with Cherry Rock Farm and got some kind of interesting fruits and vegetables that would maybe not normally be served at school or at home. So things like jicama, kohlrabi, radishes, those types of things. We cut them into small pieces. We offered 6 different things to all of the 4th graders. Encouraged them to try, although not all of them did. And we just kind of talked about the different vitamins and minerals in those items and, kind of stressed how it's really great to try new things because you can kind of branch out in your diet. And then another fun one that we did was nutrition and physical education or physical activity. This one's super cool because we actually had a high school intern with us at the time, and she developed and implemented that curriculum herself under our supervision, of course, but she did a wonderful job. And so that one was requested by the physical education teacher at Fred Assam. So we did all of 3rd and all of 4th grade. And we talked about the relationship between food and activity and how it's important to properly fuel your bodies when you're gonna be active, especially in that grade group. They're starting to be more active in sports. And so we talked about the importance of really eating well for your body and to be physically active. So overall, the program was a huge success. It went, I think, better than any of us could have expected. The teachers had great feedback. The students seemed to really like us being in the classroom. We also really enjoyed it. So just to give you a few statistics, the first session was on September 7th, and we ended the program on April 17th. So in that time, we did 83 individual nutrition education sessions. And that does not include any of the full grade groups that we did. So we did 5 full grade groups, which was an additional 21 classrooms. So over 100 classes during the school year, which is pretty great. Overall, we impacted all 5 elementary buildings. We had 44 teachers that requested education, and of those 44 teachers, 40% of them actually requested a 2nd, 3rd, and we had a few that had requested a 4th. So it was a big hit, especially for those teachers that hopped on board with us. After each session, go ahead, Chuck. After each session, we did send out a feedback form, just to kind of get some, figure out what we did well, what we didn't do well, if there were ideas for other things. We wanted to make sure that we could improve the program to be the best for the students. So there were some really great feedback from teachers, allowing us to be in the classroom, and just kind of, sessions never usually lasted longer than 20 minutes. In our older kids, the ones that asked more questions, maybe 30. But really, it was just an opportunity for us to get in there and share some of what we know, and some of our expertise. So moving forward, we are very excited about the program. We do plan to continue next year. We're excited to actually offer an additional curriculum next year. We're going to do something with sleep and physical health. That was actually suggested by one of the teachers that we went into the classroom. So Allison created a curriculum for that, and we're excited to offer that next year. But overall, it was a great program. I think that it went very well. Teachers were excited to have us, and students seemed excited to learn something kind of outside of your normal daily curriculum. So with that, thank you for letting me share that with you, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Is there any plan for moving up in grades and not just the K
Yes.
through 4?
Yes.
As in even up into the high school levels? Maybe?
We would love to. Between Allison and I, it's actually very unique for Brandon Valley. We have 2 registered dietitians on staff. There's one other district in the state that can say that right now, and it's Rapid City. So we're very unique and lucky to have Allison with us. We would love to go higher. Right now, it's just a matter of staffing, pretty much. Yep, we're just trying to take on top of our normal duties, what can we handle? So we're going to do another year in the elementary level and maybe kind of branch out after that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Awesome.
So I have a comment that has been shared by Ms. Saxer that she wanted to extend.
Okay.
She said, and the only reason I'm reading this is because she's on the phone,
Yeah.
and it's easier to do it this way. So Member Saxer just notes that this is absolutely outstanding. I have loved hearing about the nutrition curriculum, truly an example of going above and beyond. I would venture out and dare say that there is not another district where nutrition services has been so innovative and involved in the classrooms. She would also notes that the stats and the feedback is an example of best practice, and this aligns directly to our strategic plans. So
Thank you.
it's easy to continue to support the successes as they have been obviously very
Thank
well
you.
measured. So on behalf of Member Saxer, great job. Keep up the excellent work. And I would just note that I think it's been an outstanding enhancement to our curriculum in terms of what we already do, in terms of physical education, health education, all of those things. This has been a tremendous enhancement. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
To yourself and your staff as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll wait to hear from you again next year. All right, Superintendent Larson, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few items to update you on here this evening. Continue to monitor the Navigator CO2 pipeline. The Brandon Valley School District website, our central office website, is getting a makeover, and we will have a new district website or central office website that'll be up and running here this summer. Special thank you and shout out to our BV technology staff, and specifically Chuck Henson, as I know he is a key player in the development of that. So appreciate all the work that they're doing on that. And if folks come in July and take a look at the central office website and it looks different, it's supposed to. So that's coming here this summer. In terms of the budget process, really the last item we have for FY24 is upcoming here in July. At that point in time, we will hold our public budget hearing, and then there will be potential action taken in July. In terms of next year's academic calendar, again, we've been through this a number of times, so I don't need to go into great detail, but I do want to note that August 23rd Third is the first day for students grades 1 through 12. Our kindergartners will have their specialized one-on-one sessions with their teacher, the 23rd and the 24th. They start on the 25th. And then our early childhood kiddos start on Monday, August 28th. East Side Elementary School construction, just want to provide a quick update on that. The Buildings and Grounds Committee attended a session here earlier last week to review the preliminary plans and take a look at floor plans, site plans, some really preliminary stuff. So that is ongoing. We will begin to tighten that up, and then we'll continue to communicate with the respective building principal, directors that are associated with that, as well as liaison councils, classified councils, et cetera. Look to bid that project November or December of next year, with construction beginning in the spring of 2024. We'll be under construction throughout the entirety of the 24-25 school year, and we will open that building in the fall of 2025 for the 25-26 school year. Again, at this point in time, important to note, there will be no bond issues, so no additional tax burden on our patrons for the construction of this school building. It will be funded entirely through capital outlay certificates. And that's something that obviously we're able to do because of the incredible job we've done in terms of debt management. This year's academic calendar, there is no school on Monday, May 29th for Memorial Day. And then our last day for students is June 1st. It's a 2-hour early dismissal, I would note. And then our teachers have staff workshop on June 2nd. As previously communicated, we lost 7 days due to weather. We are making up 5 days with students, and then the 2 additional contract days that are required to be completed by our staff will be done via flexible curriculum development planning days sometime during the month of June. We have communicated with our certified staff via memo and informed them that they had to do that during this fiscal year in the month of June, outlined what those various types of opportunities look like and the types of work they can engage in to meet that requirement. So should be all set to go with that. High school project update. It doesn't quite look like the picture yet, but it's getting closer. Would tell you that there is no change in terms of overall schedule. We did move Area A and the punch list business and the walkthrough business back to coincide with Area B. Mostly out of a matter of convenience. So Area A and B will receive their punch list walkthrough on May 30th, and then Area C will do that punch list walkthrough there on June 27th, and then ultimately what that looks like is any remaining punch list and warranty work that has to be done gets done in July. And then we have furniture delivery and installation scheduled for mid-July. And then, if you can remember correctly, we have the chemistry lab renovation, which is Mark Stathem's chemistry lab. That room is being demoed and renovated. And then we also have restrooms in the old junior high portion that are not ADA compliant, et cetera. And those are being renovated and made into single stall, family style restrooms, ADA compliant, all of that business. And those renos will start very shortly as soon as we get kiddos gone, and then they will start that process as well. And those are scheduled to be completed August 15th for the upcoming school year. No changes to priorities. We'll run through just a couple of pictures. This is Area A. Would note that it does even look a little different yet today as they've started with that exterior grading work. Again, Area B and what looks like in front today is obviously different than that, so you're going to see that site work continue. They'll start to plug in curb and gutter and concrete and asphalt and all that jazz. Happened to catch the bulldozer in mid-action on Friday, so again, you can see the exterior site work in progress. This is an Area A classroom. I just wanted to show you an example of, once they get those areas done, they lock them up so that the trades stay out, so they don't get dirty, et cetera, because the final clean has been done. So our Area A classrooms are ultimately closed up and not available for additional work. You can see this is what the general look of our classrooms will be. Area A Science Lab, the epoxy flooring has gone in. An Area A Science Lab storage room. So this storage room for the Science Lab splits the two labs. So there's a lab on either side, and there's doors from each respective lab to this spacious and high-quality storage area. Area B classroom, you can see ceiling grid is obviously in, but they're in the process of installing flooring. Again, another Area B classroom with the carpet in there. They're preparing to install the flooring. Area C, so we're talking about the furthest north two-story addition. This is an Area C classroom on the first floor. Drywall, sheetrock's in progress as we currently speak. On floor 1. On floor 2, the mechanical, electrical rough-in business is getting tightened up, and then they will move the drywall from floor 1 up to floor 2. I believe that is all I have this evening. Would certainly entertain any questions that you have.
All right, hearing none. Thank you, Superintendent Larson. Next, no board policy. That takes us to item number 1. We'll begin the public hearing portion for the BV Pandemic Response Safe Return Plan. Is there any public that would like to speak? I hear none, so I would entertain a motion to approve items 1 and 2 under general business, please.
So moved. Second.
There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Under personnel, I would entertain a motion to approve items 1 through 18. There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Items 19 to 24 are there for your review only. Couple thank you notes there under the Board of Education, and that takes us to formal board reports. Does anyone have the one that they would like to share tonight?
Well, I don't want to sound like a record being repeated over and over, but I think Jared just did a fine job. Because I was going to say basically all that. But no, everything looks to be going great. As far as the East School, or the future East School, there will also be a transportation department, or transportation building put there for 20 buses, so it'll be a 10-stall unit. And there will also be probably a propane depot there to fill our propane buses up for use. Other than that, what Jared said is right on, so.
Anyone else? All right, that takes us to the end of our agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve, or to adjourn. There's been a first and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you for coming.